All set?
Yep.
Morning, everybody. I'd like to convene Washington County's Public Works Committee for this Tuesday, July 29th.
Thank you.
Motion to accept the minutes for July 1 meeting. All right, we got motions and seconds. Discussion, all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Department reports, sewer districts. What was yours?
Sure. So everybody bear with me. I have a lot of bond resolutions and State Environmental Quality Review Act information. A couple of these projects you may not have heard of before. Some of them you may have, but it's grant application season right now. So the majority of this is requirements for the grant application. So the first one, the Drifting Ridge project seeker and bond resolution. The Drifting Ridge and Argyle pump station projects, they're a priority right now due to a couple of sanitary sewer overflows we've had there. You may have heard the term combined sewer overflows. Those are permitted. You know, when it rains, when we get wet weather, the water overflows to the river. Sanitary sewer overflows or SSOs are not permitted. It's basically sewage going into somebody's basement or in this case, backwards through a manhole onto the street. So we got a notice of violation over there from the DEC. The bottom line is the pump station can't keep up. So we had a little engineering work done. It was part of our capital improvement plan and we have project estimate. What we're looking to do now is apply for grant funding. We probably have to do this project either way next year because the DEC is aware of it. There's sewage going onto the road and people's yards. But, you know, the timing is good where we can apply for some grant funding. So a couple of steps towards that. I want the county, the full board to declare it a type 2 action under seeker because it's replacement in kind. The actual language is it meets 2 criteria to make it a type 2 action. It's maintenance or repair involving no substantial changes in an existing structure or facility. And number 2, replacement, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of a structure or facility in kind on the same site. So we want to declare it a type 2 seeker. Therefore, we don't need the full coordinated review that we have to do for the next project. So that's one action. The bond resolution is also required for the grant applications. Basically, it's the county's intent to borrow or ability to borrow. It doesn't need to be. Essentially will. If all goes well with these grant applications, I'll be coming back to you to accept the awards and go out for engineering services. So we're not spending any money by doing this. The only money we'll be spending is for the bond council, whoever has to write the resolution. So the amount for the Drifting Ridge and Argyle pump station project is $1,320,000. That's the conversation. If there's any questions, so by all means. Yeah.
Is there a match?
So for this one, we're applying for 3 different grants. They all have different matches. The easy answer is if we get all of the grants, we'll be somewhere between 80 and 90% grant, and then the rest will be on us. Like I said, this is a sensitive project because there's sanitary overflows where if we don't get any grants, we might be paying for this project. We might not have a choice.
We have to.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, is that picked up by all the users in the sewer district?
Yes, the entire sewer district will be paying. This will come out of our ad valorem, which is
But it's only gonna benefit Drifting Ridge.
correct. But I mean, any project, wherever you do it throughout the district, though, is primarily going to benefit whoever's in that area.
Any other questions? I have one. So the seeker. If we classify type 2, what do we need to do here today?
I think just basically fill out the short form and go to the board meeting.
Kevin, I assume that you want my bond counsel to deal with this.
Yes.
All right, so Larry will take care of the seeker and the bond resolution. Larry and Kevin will do this through email exchanges and you'll see it.
And we'll see it at the board meeting.
You'll see it at the board meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, the
Hopefully you'll
language,
see it at finance first.
Yeah.
But you'll go through the checklist at the full board meeting.
Okay.
But if you want to engage my bond counsel to do the seeker and the bonding, we'll start that process today.
yep. Yeah, Larry will do it, but the language for the type two is pretty much the county declares it type two because of.
And he'll have a couple of
particular
questions for you as you're aware.
Okay,
So we'll move this to finance and finalize it at
Yes.
finance.
Yes.
We got a motion to move to finance.
Motion.
Second, thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
number two is a larger project. This was examined and estimated as part of our capital improvement plan as well. The goal right now, because this is the top of our priority list, is to apply for grant assistance and see what we are awarded. This project in particular, they're tanks, they're large pieces of equipment at the plant. They're called secondary clarifiers. If anybody doesn't know what that means, it's one of the final tanks that the sewage passes through at the plant, where anything more dense than the water will settle, anything less dense will float. And then the water that exits the secondary clarifiers essentially goes to the river. So they're very important pieces of equipment. The goal of the project will be to make them bigger and more reliable. The current ones are original to when the plant was built. As you know, they are identified as top priority in the capital improvement plan. So again, this project is not the same as Drifting Ridge, where we're doing it essentially regardless. What we want to do is see what grant funding we get. There are major water quality impacts for this project, so we think it'll score well. We think we'll get some grant funding. But a couple of steps that I'm looking for with this one is the seeker. Again, this will be a full coordinated review seeker. So the first step towards that would be the county seeking lead agency. This is a bigger project where we're disturbing new ground, so it's going to require a full seeker. I would like to start this month. The bond resolution, which the total of these projects for the two secondary clarifiers is 19,560,000. And as part of the grant application as well, we would submit a finance application that's required under the grant, where ask for EFC if they would let us finance the project through them in the event we move it forward. It's a big number, but it's the same boat where we're not committing to spending this money right now. It's just all required under the grant applications and finance requirements. But
When these secondary clarifiers, does that mean that you'll be able to discharge more water if you expand the sewer? The performance of the
yes, that's the ultimate goal. So getting technical, we have a couple of overflows set up at our plant currently. The first overflow is 7 million gallons per day of water coming in. So if the flow coming into the plant is more than 7 million gallons, it overflows to the river. The reason for that is because all of the equipment we have is sized for 7 million gallons. The second overflow at our plant is 4 million gallons. So after anything that's between 4 and 7 million will overflow through the 4 million, and that does not go through the secondary clarifiers because they're not big enough. So to answer your question, by making these bigger, we hope to be able to put 7 million through there. And the bigger picture is to increase our permit, how much flow we can take to the plant, and then there may be a path where we can take new flow back to the whole new development and offsetting stuff. But this is,
wasn't there a UV unit after the clarifier?
yes,
And now will that have to be enlarged also?
the UV can currently take 7 million. It's the secondaries that are our bottleneck. So the water that goes between the 4 and 7 million, it will get UV disinfection.
It will. Oh.
Sure.
Just a curiosity question. How many tanks?
We currently have 2. The projects are to replace those, upgrade those, and then create 1 new tank. So we'll end up with 3 tanks rather than 2, and the 2 existing ones will be refurbished.
And What's the lifespan of these tanks?
30 years. Typically, well, the equipment would be 30 years, the concrete work is much further than that,
These have probably been in since 82.
yes.
How often are you exceeding your flow limits?
I don't have the exact number, well. The amount of times we overflowed last year was somewhere around 50 times. You know, throughout the whole system, not just the plant.
So we,
This is brought up, the overflow was brought up. Couple, 2 or 3 years ago, before you were here. Asked,
Any other questions? So what we're doing this point, let's get clarity on this. We need this to,
same thing as the first.
same thing as the first one, right?
Yes, sir.
We're gonna move this to finance and then we'll discuss the details in finance.
With finance.
Thanks, Jay.
second,
Second. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Number 3, should be pretty straightforward. It's a sole source purchase. I budgeted this pump in this year's budget. I explained it during budget season. That said, because it's over $50,000, I need board approval for the sole source purchase.
second,
Second, thank you. Any other discussion on the phone?
$55,900 or $975.
Motion approved on the table, seconded. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed?
And that'll be moved to full board for resolution.
And number 4, the sewer 1 project seeker, this project is complete. That said, you know, we need to button up our seeker to get our grant funds we already have for that project. It's for the sewer 1 slip lining and manhole rehab project I talked a lot about 2024. Discussed this with the commissioners and we're looking to do a seeker resolution now, at this point, confirming the classification of the project as a type 2. Under the same criteria as earlier, that it was replacement, rehabilitation, or reconstruction of a structure or facility in kind on the same site. And it'll require no further review pursuant to seeker.
We need to use,
Yeah, will this one be your council or my council?
I have a draft if Dan just wants to like button it up for this one. It's just a
I
type 2.
don't think you need Larry for this one.
No, it's just a straightforward type 2 confirming.
I think this one goes straight to the full board, right?
I can send you the draft.
Alright,
Move it to the board.
motion moved to the board, Jay. Yeah. Alright, any other discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion carried.
Daryl,
Yes, sir.
before Kevin leaves, rolling back last year, remember we're asked to submit a list to the state budget director of projects that we had for compensation, they put in for the budget for compensation for counties that were affected by closure of prison. That is in the budget. Laura and I and a couple others tried to source down the information. We couldn't, so with the assistance of Steve Aquarian from NISAC, the president of NISAC, we had a Zoom meeting with the director of the budget. It was myself, Bob, Al, Melissa, Sam. Doesn't matter, but the conversation went far better than we expected. Basically come back to us, and he actually had the list in front of him, had the memo in front of him. The action was very positive. He asked us to go back and look at the list and make sure we have the numbers right on the list and the right prioritization list. So we're working on it, to get it back to him. And I've asked for Kevin to updates on some numbers, and Laura's asked for updates from other parties involved. And remember the qualification of the needed stuff, needed project that already have engineering done. So we've done that. We have a little more information to gather. We will submit that to NISAC hopefully by the end of the week. And as he said, from there, he has a group in ESD, who has been working on this. And they will continue the project with us, and he said, this will be the first of many discussions. So it's very positive. I think that Al was shocked. He had two positive things happen in one day. And, we were very surprised, at the information he had and the positive he had with it. He actually said in the meeting, and everyone else who's there can correct me, is that he said the governor's very interested in this. It's one of our top priorities. So let's move forward. So if you get up to date, we just want to let you know, we did have a meeting. Could I miss anything, Mr. Bob? Ralph?
I would encourage whoever from our group to have a conversation with Kevin to make sure that his priorities align with whatever you send to Albany. Like we were asked to prioritize our top 5 projects. I want to make sure that we include Kevin in that conversation so that we don't assume what his top priority is. That would be my ask.
I've talked to Kevin, I've talked to Freeman. Couple things for Kevin, Susan Lee said, but, we are looking for.
But it was encouraging that they're willing to take a look at our list of priorities, and anytime it's not a no, I'll take a maybe all day.
Simply getting a meeting, director of budget, what updated number, whereas a year of government is a good thing. I didn't have anything negative on that meeting. I was really surprised. I had to call him next morning. Was I dreaming yesterday?
Well, when you talk, infrastructure for sewer systems, it's a big dollar item, so.
The devil's in the details, but it was encouraging.
Hey, thank you. Any other, issues for Kevin? All right. Sir, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You have a great day. Look forward to reading those secrets.
Yeah.
You could just shoot me the 2 numbers.
Riveting when we go through those.
Okay, I'll get that request out to the meeting.
If we're asking for money, I want to be put on the docket for him. Hey, Kevin.
Well, after 19 million, anything you.
Yeah, I guess it's not bad. But mine was bad.
You got stuff in the range of a couple $1 million.
Oh, good
All right,
morning.
Public Works, Deb, the floor is yours.
So first up, we would like to apply for 2 grant applications. I will tell you about the smaller one first. So in the MS4 area, which is the municipal separate storm sewer system, we have these vac trucks. We bought one in 2019. We share it with the other municipal, the MS4. We have the town and village of Fort Edward, the town of Kingsbury, the village of Hudson Falls, us. I think that's it. And so we share that. So we also have a 2009 vac truck. So ever since we got 2, it's been very useful because we all need it at the same time. So I'm gonna ask to apply for an MS4 grant to replace the 2009, and it'll be shared with the MS4 communities. The maximum amount that we can apply for is $400,000. This vac truck that we bought in 2019 was just under $125,000. So we don't think this will be 400,000, but we don't have any quotes yet to know. And it is a 25% match, but it is a non-monetary match. It's an in-kind. We clean out the catch basins kind of match. So can I apply for that grant?
Motion to apply for the grant. Jay, second by Tim. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next up is a WQIP grant application that we would like to apply for. So this is, we have County Route 10 on the Vermont border, and we have County Route 54 down near Scotticoke in Easton. And we have slides on those roads. County Route 10 was put down to 1 lane over 1.5 years ago because of the slides. We removed some of the weight because when you have a slide, the more weight you put on, it makes it slide faster. So in moving that way off it, we were able to keep it open to one lane, but it's sliding more still, so we need to fix it. Also on County Route 4 or 54, near the 113 intersection along the Hudson River, but not next to it, but near it, is a similar slide. The
Struggling
town,
with that for years.
yes, yep.
Feels like it.
And we've tried to fix that one last year and our fix didn't work. It's already. So, we did a low cost fix to see if we could limp it along, but it didn't work while we were looking for funding. The town of Greenwich has a slide that is, it's not the same kind of slide. This one is an erosion slide. So the water is taking it away. It's not a failure of the slope. So we want to put that one in there. And then there's a few places that help our chances of being selected for the grant that we need to fix on County Route 11, 12, and 47. These are fixed with hydroseeding and other methods that prevent erosion. So the grant amount that we would like to apply for is 2.12 million. 1 million is for County Route 10. 1.4 million is for County Route 54, 50,000 is for Mill Road. And then the rest is for the materials on the other county routes. What we want to do for a fix are soil nails. I don't know if anybody ever goes over County Route 46 where it was always failing, and we did soil nails through a WQIP grant sometime early during COVID. That's why I remember it. And that has held up great since then. So the local match is $530,000. 100,000 is in labor and 430,000 would be in cash. For a total project of 2.65 million.
Do I get a motion to apply for the grants? Thank you. Next time, Tim. Question, sir.
I'm trying to move the motion.
Okay.
So this will be, the grant probably would come next year.
Yes.
And so the budget would be affected in 2027.
2026, and
6 and 7.
if she's successful in these awards, you'll also see a seeker and bonding resolution, because we would have to ban this project. We wouldn't have the cash to cash flow this. We'd have to borrow to, because this is a reimbursement based program, so we'd be able to do it with a band. It wouldn't have to be long-term financing, but we'd have to ban the upfront cash.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
What are the odds of getting that?
Well, we think they're pretty good.
Good.
Beth is applying for this.
They've been
For
very
us.
successful in their WQIP requests.
That's good.
I mean, in the interest of public safety, that's kind of pretty big,
Well, my concern is if she didn't get the grant, you know, that's,
significant. Yes.
We've had, DOT has come and looked at these projects no less than twice on each project and given out recommendations. The, geotechnical guys, so.
I just want to thank Deb for going the extra mile here to figure this out, because we could sit here and twiddle our thumbs all day long, but this sounds like a good solution.
Hopefully.
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier. What are the options? There aren't many. These are slides. Yeah, so we'll go after every bit we can. All right, it's got a motion. We have a second. Any other questions, concerns? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next up, Dan would like to talk.
Which is frightening enough in and of itself on matters such as this. As the board may recall, last April, we passed resolution 107 authorizing the chairman to sign a memorandum of understanding with the County of Saratoga for the maintenance of the Dix Bridge. Saratoga is just getting around to finally, we thought we could use the old MOA that we had. Turns out Saratoga County's auditor didn't want to do that. my counterpart in Saratoga County and I have been trading drafts. We think we have a final agreement. And even though there was an authorization last year, I think it would behoove us to have a resolution that simply reaffirms that chairman is authorized to do it, because when we put the resolution numbers into the agreement, it'll look a little silly if Saratoga says resolution whatever of 2025, and ours is resolution 107 of 2024. So it's just more kind of a cleanup thing than anything else. We've already approved it. It's just like, I think it would be better practice in our part just to reaffirm the resolution.
Questions? So, Dan,
The only question I have, wasn't there discussion the last few years about sharing or the state not picking up some of the cost of the bridge inspection?
We've been talking about it. I know we're not thrilled about paying for it. Saratoga's not thrilled about paying for it. And,
Uh-huh.
you know, initially, one of the discussions we initially had, I was looking to kind of get a more longer term agreement in place, so we don't have to do a new one every 5 years. It will not shock me in the next 5 to 10 years, given the condition of the bridge, that possibly Cole County's end up abandoning.
so do we want that resolution from a full board, this reaffirmation, so.
Yeah.
Another resolution.
It'll just be
number-
basically something, we passed resolution 107 in 2024, we're reaffirming it so that we can officially sign the
We'll
agreement.
write that up. All right. Motion to move forward until a full board resolution reaffirming. Motion. Dan, second, Lance and Dave. Okay, any other questions? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried.
Next up, we have the ghost of Jimmy from Benton Brine. Yes, dude.
There it goes. There he comes around the corner on cue. On cue.
You've been introduced. Do you need your pointer?
Yes.
So if you don't know Jimmy, I'd be quite surprised. This is Jim Hogan. He's gonna present on our brine program at the request of Jay.
Not just a brine program, it's more of a salt reduction. Our brine has helped out tremendously with a lot of other tools in our toolbox that we've been using. When I took over this position, let's see, 14 years ago, we were using 21,000 tons of salt. Last year, we used 95. The year before that, it was 60. Last year was a difficult year because of a lot of different things, but it wasn't so much the weather, it was the fact we were getting bad salt and we weren't able to use brine. Some of the things that motivated for the salt reduction was the environment. Lake George came to us back in the early 90s and requested us to not use sand anymore. Well, what was the other option? It was basically salt. The cost savings of it, there's been a lot of towns throughout the Adirondacks that have switched from sand usage to salt. They're saving close to $100,000 a year, and that's at town. So the salt, going from salt to sand saves money. Safer roads within a few hours after the storm stops. It will actually, the roads will be better for you, so you don't have to keep treating them or continuously treating them. Of course, it'll lower the blood pressure. How'd we get here? In the mid-90s, we were asked to reduce the sand input in Lake George Basin. So we went to straight salt. Our first initial shot was 900 pounds a mile. Then we cut it back to 600 pounds a mile, which back then we didn't think we could go any lower. But the past few years, we have found out that we can. There's still a lot of towns, counties in New York State that use these same applications. Rensselaer County is one of them. They won't put out less than 800 pounds a mile, and here we are, right around an average of about 165 or 185 pounds a mile was last year. In 2012-13, we were asked what we used in Lake George Basin on average. Then it was around 315 to 325 pounds per lane mile. We had reduced it drastically between the 90s and the early teens. Well, we were still up there quite a ways. They wanted us to start looking at ways to reduce it even more. So we did. We put a lot of investments into it. One of the things that we did to reduce it, educate our drivers. Just because it's snowing doesn't mean you have to put 500-600 pounds a mile on. We're not looking for bare roads during a storm, we're looking for bare roads after the storm. Technology has helped tremendously. This right here is a picture of one of our first initial CompuSpreads spreads. We have since gone to an even better screen, but we're able to track how much salt we use per mile, and it's dictated by the ground speed. So if your truck is slowing up, going uphill, you're not putting as much salt on. If you're going a little bit faster down the road, it's all dictated by how the miles per hour that you travel. The measure and calibrate. We calibrate all of our trucks so that if we're asking for 225 pounds a mile, that's what we're putting out. We're asking for 100 pounds a mile, that's what we're putting out. And the liquids have helped because when you go to fry an egg, what's the first thing you do? You put butter in your pan, it won't get it to stick to the road. We brine now so that the snow and ice doesn't stick to the road. It takes a lot less material to get the road cleared off. The tracking of the material, we have found that with tracking of the materials, if we put out a graph after the storm, it's become a competition for all of our drivers to see who can use less salt. And it's really turned into a fun thing, actually. The other thing is live edge plows. We did those, I think, in 16, 17. We started to put those on the trucks, and that dropped the salt ridiculously low. In discussions, of course, after the storm, we always like to talk about it. Guys in the building will talk to the foreman about it, what worked, what didn't. That's helped out a lot. Yes,
In all your discussion, all your numbers, are they lane miles or are they miles?
lane miles.
Okay, thank you.
Lane miles. We do everything in lane miles because there's parts of the state roads that we take care of, double lane. So we figure everything in lane mile. We can't, center lane mile doesn't equal up that way. The computer controllers that we introduced in 2013. It's like I said, it's controlled by ground speed. The amount going out, and it's a lot easier to track. And at the end of the storm, I can pull up each truck. We have them Wi-Fi to a program here at the county that IT put in for us. And within 10 minutes after the truck pulls into the building, I can see how much salt they used throughout the storm and figure out how many miles compared to what they plowed and salted for, how many miles per, or how much pounds per lane mile they use. So it's easy to track the storm, track it now. Up until 2019, we weren't able to do that. We had to get all the information out of the program, or out the CompuSpreads with the key. So now we have it Wi-Fi, same thing. The live edge is, if you can see behind that, underneath that truck, how well that plow scrapes. The less, or the more you can scrape off the road, that's the cheapest way to get snow off the road is plowing. The more you can plow off the road, the less you have to burn off the road. So on a storm like that, we may be putting out 125 pounds per mile. And that's just to keep it from bonding to the road. We can keep that from hard packing or getting bond to the blacktop. We won't use nearly as much salt. It takes 5 times as much salt to burn hard pack off than it does just sprinkling it out throughout the storm. The other thing with these, we have found that these live edge plows last about at least 3 to 4 times longer than a carbide steel setup. We were replacing carbide steel setups once or twice a year. We just pulled one of the blades off 2017 truck last year for the first time. It's the original blade that came on the truck, so those blades saved a lot of money in the long. They cost a little bit more to start, but they do save a lot of money.
Jay's got a question.
Yes, Jay?
On those blades, so the towns can't really use them because of the dirt roads, is that correct?
Well, I think if you ask Bob, I think, Mark over in Oregon tried one on dirt road and it works just fine.
Okay,
If you've got frost in the road, you'll be okay. When you don't have to cross.
You have to go careful. spring.
What?
That's with anything, I mean,
We have to be.
you're gonna go and
pretty
spray it with a carbide too.
We've actually had trucks flip over in the springtime, taking in the blacktop. So. It does happen. Some of the other things that we did, we switched from a center or side discharge to the center discharge. And our salt's going where we want it to go now. The pattern is much better because we went through the conveyor system or the auger system. Got away from the conveyor system. See what that bottom said as well.
Using the auger, to get more consistent pattern.
Yep, yeah, so you get a lot more consistent pattern with the change, you used to get a lot of skips in the pattern. With the augers, it's a constant, salt is constantly running out, even when we're only looking for 100 pounds mile. This is the brine presentation part of this. If you can pre-treat the roads, you're not gonna get hard back on the roads if you can pre-treat them. The roads will actually start bearing up before a plow even goes across them. But the first time they go across it, scrapes right down they're right down the blacktop. With the liquids at the spinner, we can jumpstart the salt. Where one thing you need to do to get salt to melt snow is get it in a liquid form. And with us putting it in a liquid form at the spinner, even though it's, minimal amount of salt, it's helping this rock salt that we're putting down activate. It will activate the lower temperature. Instead of 15 degrees, it will activate 5 degrees. So, lot less expensive to pre-treat roads than with rock salt. We're only using we're only using about 40% of what rock salt would be. All of our trucks are outfitted for the pre-wetting systems on the trucks now. Which last year we finally got to where all the trucks were set up that way. The pre-wet I think the pre-wet has helped reduce salt almost as much as the live edge blades has. Pre-wet also stops bounce and scatter. Cornell did a study quite a few years ago. I'm gonna say it was in the early 2000s. That a plow truck driving down the road 25 miles an hour with dry salt, 22 or 23% of that salt ends up in the ditch line. At 25 miles an hour, you get 30 miles an hour and it's upwards of 40%. By pre-treat at 25 miles an hour, it's dropped it down to 2% of the salt ends up on the side of the road. So you're getting 100%, almost 100% of your salt where you want it. The pre-treating of the roads can be done up to 72 hours prior to a storm. We don't like to do it that early, but we like to do it usually the day before or 2 days before, so the traffic doesn't wear it off. It can be applied to the road line, stays where we put it, where if we try to pre-treat rock salt, traffic's gonna whip it off the edge onto the shoulder. That's not where we want it. I think they already covered that. This right here shows you what the pre-wetting salt does, how much quicker it works. That's in 20 minutes at 5 degrees where when it's dry salt, you don't get a lot of, it doesn't thaw a lot. That's it, cheaper to pre-treat for the drying because you're not using as much. Costs over $10 to pre-treat with rock salt, 250 pounds a mile compared to less than 4 with the brine at 40 gallons per mile. We've actually cut it some back down to 35 gallons per mile because it seems to work just as well. Those of course were last year's prices. This year's gonna be a little bit different. These right here is, we have like it's a chart to go by whether we're gonna be pre-treating or not. We can't just go out and pre-treat anytime we want. If the weather isn't above 15 degrees, you shouldn't pre-treat. Dew point's gotta be within 3 degrees from the temperature, and the humidity level's gotta be below 70 degrees, or 70%. If any of that doesn't fall into place, you shouldn't be pre-treating. If it's gonna start off as rain, you shouldn't be pre-treating. If the road is already white with salt, shouldn't be pre-treated. There's quite a few reasons why we want to pre-treat, but we are looking forward to this year being able to pre-treat quite a bit, as long as we have brine and we've got the equipment. These right here is the same storm within 5 miles apart from one another. The one on the left, we did not pre-treat. It was one of the state roads. That intersection on 9L and 149, very busy intersection. And the other one is up in Pilot Knob where you may get 10 cars an hour up there on snow days. So you can see the difference that the brine it actually makes for us when we pre-treat. The truck hadn't even been over Pilot Knob when I went up there. That 23.3 is a very crucial number. You get up above 24 and you're actually doing damage. So when we invest in a brine maker and we want it all automated, we want to be 23.3 because you get up around 24, 25, it's like making ice cream. So you don't want to be, we're very cautious on, we'll check the salinity every year, every fall, see what our tanks are at, and if we have to fluctuate or not. But when we're making it, our brine maker starts pumping it out at 23.3, it's all automated. Where the one that we had in Whitehall, that we had to move here in Fort Edward last winter, we're able to make probably 5,000 gallons an hour. Compared to our portable one, we were struggling making 1,000 gallons a day. This right here, the Cambridge crew have become somewhat, they're very eager to try this. Well, last year we tried liquid, straight liquid, no granulars out on the road. And we found out that on 12 beat 17, they used granular, they put 14.1 tons of salt down. On 12 beat 18, they used 15.4, and 12 beat 19, 18.5, where they used nothing but the liquid, it figured to be 5.2 ton of salt. They made one less trip going around that same storm. All within the Cambridge, Jackson, White Creek area. So it's not like there's a big difference in one road to the other, but they found that they were surprised at how quick it did bear off. This was about 2 minutes after the truck went through, and it was bare. Well, they actually made one last trip and used a third of the salt all over the trucks. So liquid, I think, is the future, but we're not there yet. We're trying it with a couple of different beats. We did it quite a few years ago in Pilot Knob, and we did it up at Hewlett's Landing. Back when they first did it, we saw quite a difference, but we just didn't have the capacity for it. Now with the bigger tanks, they have the capacity, at least try it. These right here are a couple of different three different buildings. And as you can see, the amount of salt that they use per average is the blue line. And you can see where truck 32 was actually dry, main building, but it was about 25 pounds per mile different for the storm than, next two down, there was a lot more, it was close to 100, it was better than 100 pounds that they used per mile. And that's where the pre-wetting of the salt, we really see it. We could use a lot less salt than pre-wetting it at the spinner. These are the graphs that we send out after each storm, so the crews can see which ones who used the least amount of salt. And you can see the average right there was upwards of 175, just over 175. I think it was 180 pounds per mile. And that graph came from 2022, I believe. This next one, you'll see it was up around 225. That was 2020 before we were using liquids. Then this one was just over, this was up around 240 pounds per mile, and that was back in 2018. Prior to going to the live edge plow, we were up around 300 pounds per mile, 325 pounds per mile throughout the storm. This is a salt year usage to date. And 15, 16, I throw out the window because that was one of the mildest winters I can ever remember. You can see where we went to the pre-wetting of the salt in 2021 and then 2022. How it's reduced down. 2024 and 25, we didn't have a good year. There's a lot of reasons for it. The rock salt was coming in at 15% stone. And also we didn't have the capacity of the liquid brine. Starting out the season, we had the salt, but we didn't have the water. Whitehall had their water issue up there. And middle of January, we decided to move the brine maker down here because our tanks were starting to get a little bit, all of our tanks were out. So we tried to move our brine maker down here, and then all of a sudden we couldn't get salt. So we either had to use straight liquid or use a lot of the brine or keep the salt on hand. So we decided to keep the salt on hand. So that's why 24 and 25 jumped up the way it has. And those are the tons of salt that we've used throughout the year. For years, I should say. Question is, can we always do better? I pulled one truck up, or two trucks up in Fort Dan because those guys up there, they're big on the liquids also. And last year they averaged 100, or for the 4 seasons, they averaged 178, 176 pounds per mile. Those are the two trucks that go up and pilot now. Would we like to see them get down even lower? Yes, we would. Do I think some of our other trucks can get down lower? Yes, I think. We just have to educate the guys. That's one of the biggest things is getting the guys on board, the drivers. If we can get them on board, I think that we can.
MJ had a question.
Just like, when you just, so I'm clear, cause I just had to, when you talk pre-wetting, the truck is carrying a tank and spraying down as it goes with the material
Right,
dropping on. Is it straight water?
Nope, it's our brine, 23.3%.
It's the brine, okay, cause I was just wondering about.
Yep,
okay.
no, it's the brine. If we put straight water in,
It
we
would
throw it
freeze.
like that.
Yeah, that's why I was wondering.
No, it's straight brine. That's it. Questions?
Thank you.
Next job.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, have a
Good
good
day
day.
then.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or concerns for Deb?
Zach, explain. Did you learn anything today? Yeah.
Yeah,
Good.
a lot of time.
He's a very good presenter. Did he create that?
Listen.
He did.
Any other business?